Hi folks, how you doing? This is Iqbal with NVIDIA Daily Analysis. I could not make a video on Thursday and Friday because I was traveling, but in last 2 days NVIDIA made a very good progress, but still NVIDIA was not able to break or sustain above the previous all-time high. It was able to probably move around 140 or 141 but could not go beyond that level, as I predicted in my previous videos last week. We'll further discuss how NVIDIA can perform in next few days in this video. We'll use technical charts, latest fundamentals, and the data analysis to make this assessment. Now, let's get started. Starting with the daily summary, Nvidia opened at 138.66. It made a high 138.90. It made a low 137.28 and it closed at 138. That is 0.78% up. In last 5 days, Nvidia is still up about 1.11%. Last 1 month, Nvidia is up about 21.7%. Last 6 months is up about 63%. And year to date is still positive 186.5%. And still Nvidia has more potential to go further up in next 4 weeks. Based on my previous assessment that I shared with you last week over the weekend, the maximum point Nvidia can touch before the next earnings is 151.7, around 152. And this is my conservative assessment. Nvidia might go higher than 151 as well. And all the three major indices were positive today as well, and that's a good sign. S&P is up about 0.40%, but lots of volatility, you can see that. And also Nasdaq is positive 0.63%, and Dow Jones positive about 0.085%. So getting back to Nvidia, if you remember last week, I shared my opinion that Nvidia should not be able to break or exceed the previous all-time high. So Nvidia went up about 140.89 sometime this week, but it could not go further than that. I guess previous all-time high was about 140.6 or so, right? So kind of about the same level it touched. So my last week assessment is almost right. Now let's take a look forward P for Nvidia. Nvidia forward P at this point is 44.23, is still below 50. So I guess Nvidia based on the forward P also has more potential to go further up in next 4 weeks. Palantir 126.38, slightly below than last week closing. SMCI 14.87, it also slightly down from the last week closing. And AMD 40.51, so much lower than the last week closing of the forward PE. So if you take a look, SMCI looks to me still under pressure, but I think that is just a temporary thing. SMCI probably before the next earning should get some positive momentum. And also I guess SMCI should also be able to submit the 10K filing in next 2 weeks before the earnings. Now let's take a look quarterly percentage change analysis for Nvidia. Based on the cumulative percentage change, Nvidia is up about 17.77% from the previous earnings. We still have about 4 weeks to go, and I guess in next 4 weeks Nvidia can go up about 10 to 12%. It still has more room to go further up compared with the historical data. The last quarter, you see that Nvidia was up about 32%, and 1 quarter prior, it was up about 38%. So, based on that, Nvidia should touch about 30% according to the cumulative percentage change before the next earnings. Now, let's take a look technical charts for Nvidia. You see 180-day hourly interval chart. for NVIDIA on your screen and also the MACD chart. When we looked at the MACD chart 2 days ago, we saw that MACD started going up, but the momentum was not very strong. So I made the comment on that day that even if NVIDIA is going up, but the current momentum is not strong enough to make another all time high. So NVIDIA went up around 140 or 141, but it had to come down. So at this point, you see that MACD chart is going down. So this tells that the momentum is not very strong at this point. But it does not mean that NVIDIA will make another correction of 5 to 6% in next few days. There is a chance that NVIDIA starts bouncing back from next week, as we saw sometime in the past. You see that? In here, MACD line also started going down, but it got the bounce back. Same behavior I'm expecting early next week. Probably Nvidia would gain some momentum to go further up. And looking at the Fibonacci levels, you see that Nvidia is trading around 138. If you remember, a few days ago, I made the comment that this week Nvidia should be moving between 130 and 140. So that's what you saw. Nvidia went up a little higher than 140, but I would consider still it was trading around 140. And looking at the Fibonacci levels, the next level of support is 125, but I am guessing that next week there is a chance that Nvidia should be able to break the Fibonacci level of 140.6. And there are multiple reasons behind it. One of the biggest reasons is TSMC, better than expected earnings, and also the sales outlook was also pretty good. Let's take a look. You see that TSMC was able to beat the earnings by 8.87% and also the revenue 1.26%. But I was not expecting TSMC to beat the earnings that high. I was expecting probably between 2 to 5% earnings beat from TSMC. So it's better than my expectation. Now let's take a look some news regarding Nvidia. Most of the news are good regarding Nvidia on Friday. For example, let's take a look this one that says AI creates generational opportunity. Why Nvidia analyst says the stock will hit 190. Let's open it. So Nvidia continues to be Bank of America's top stock within the artificial intelligence universe, with analyst Vivek Arya labeling the company as a generational opportunity. So they raised the price target from 165 to 190, and that's a good sign. Another one, and that is also from Bank of America, same analyst, and they are making the bullish case for Nvidia and says the generative AI is a long-term play. So in their opinion, even in the long term, Nvidia has a better future outlook. Another one, and also this is from Bank of America. This says Nvidia stock rises to end wild week. Bank of America says shares could rise another 40%, but they did not give any timeline. So I'm okay, yes. I kind of agree that Nvidia can raise up to 40%, but not in this quarter. Maybe it will take another quarter or two to raise another 40%. Let's take a look this one, and this one is from American Express CEO. It says that American Express CEO sees no landing. Watch Nvidia for a breakout. So let's open it. So let's scroll down. So here you see that the explanation is here that says he sees no landing for the US economy. In plain English, no landing means the economy continues to grow without a major slowdown. So that's a good sign if he sees that US economy is not gonna slow down anytime soon. And that should also help Nvidia and other tech stocks. So regarding Nvidia, probably the comment I see here is Nvidia chart shows the resistance proved to be strong for Nvidia stock to break out yesterday. And I have the same analysis that I shared with you a few days ago that I said 140.56 is a strong resistance, and that was the all time high before. And I had the opinion that Nvidia should not be able to break the all time high in just few attempts. And that's what happened last week. You see that Nvidia went up around 140 or 141, but it was not able to go any further. At this point, Nvidia needs to get fresh momentum next week to break the previous all time high. And I'm positive Nvidia should be able to get some extra momentum next week and it should be able to break all time high. Another price target increase, and that is from DBS Bank, and they raised the price target for Nvidia from 135 to 150. A 135 price target that they had before did not make any sense to me. Probably they are reacting rather than proactive in their analysis. So I guess that's all about news and the analysis regarding Nvidia from other analysts. Now let's take a look other AI stocks in my watch list. You see that most of the stocks in my watch list are positive on Friday, and the highest positive change is in SoundHound, that is 5.16% up, and the highest negative change is in Avago, that is 0.90% down. Now let's take a look at what are the different economic data due next week that could impact Nvidia and overall market. Let's take a look. It looks like next week is gonna be also a quiet week in terms of the economic data. So Monday, nothing much. Tuesday, no big data is coming. Wednesday, same story. Thursday, we have weekly initial jobless claims. Could be somewhat important regarding the job market. And Friday also, no big data is coming. So next week, as you see that we are into the earnings season, so probably we need to watch and pay close attention to other AI companies' earnings data and also other tech companies' earnings data due next week. We'll talk about this in more detail in my next video that I'm gonna load on Sunday this week. And we'll also talk about other factors or catalysts that can impact NVIDIA stock for next week. So wait for my next video as well. So I guess that's all about my analysis and assessment for NVIDIA for Friday and next few days. I hope you liked the video. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you more in the next video. Take care.